Leadership made easy. This has been our discussion for the past couple of episodes now, and I'm sure you are learning quite a number of wisdom that will make you have an effective leadership and, of course, an effective life in general. Welcome to Leaders Arise, and my name is Demola Awoyele. Thank you for being a part of this broadcast. Okay, so I was discussing some of the things you've got to put into your life and leadership that will make leadership easy as ABC. And today, I want to speak to what I've called leading from your heart. Leading from your heart. Still on the series, Leadership Made Easy. My goal in this series actually is to help you demystify, simplify this idea of leadership, that just anybody can lead and anybody can lead with ease. And I hope that today's sharing will greatly impact you. So let's look at leading from your heart. I have discovered that anyone who does not lead from his heart or from her heart cannot be an effective leader. Leadership is a matter of the heart. Like you must have heard before now, that the heart of the matter is a matter of the heart. One of the things that a leader or an upcoming leader or a would-be leader must realize is that until you lead from your heart, leadership becomes a struggle. Until you lead from your heart, leadership becomes a struggle. So let's look at the story of David in Psalm 78, verse 70 to 72. Psalm 78, verse 70 to 72. Remember, the Bible said David was called out of the bush, as it were, from leading animals great and young. All right, God called him to lead or shepherd his people Israel. And the Bible said David led them or shepherded them with the integrity of his heart and, of course, with the skillfulness of his hands. When you look at that ordering in that Psalm 78 very well, the Bible spoke about the integrity of his heart, then the skillfulness of his heart. And those are the two major forces that make for effective leadership: a heart of integrity and a hand that is skillful. So, but I don't want to talk about skill today, because a lot of people have actually spoken about that. Oh, a leader must be skillful, a leader must know how to speak, must know how to handle things, blah, 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 like that. As wonderful as those are, it is very important that a leader must lead from his heart. This perhaps was the difference between the leadership of David and the leadership of Saul. David led from his heart. Can I give you this wisdom? How to rate your effectiveness in leadership? Check your heart beat. Check what is happening in your heart. And guess what? The Bible says the heart of man is desperately wicked and deceitful above all. He said, who can know it? The reason why a lot of people fail today is because their heart actually betrayed them. So masters of leadership are masters of the heart. Whoever wants to master the heart, A-R-T, of leadership must master the heart of leadership. So there is the heart of leadership, A-R-T, and there is the heart of leadership, H-E-A-R-T. Heart, A-R-T, can be said to mean skill, the way leadership is done. But heart talks about the motive behind your leadership practice. And that is one thing you will notice about David, that David was not a very perfect guy. None of us is perfect, actually. David was not the most righteous guy, but David was a man with a perfect heart. That is why you will hear God commend the life of David. So I have found David my servant, a man after my heart. So David's heart, number one, beat for God. Number two, David's heart beat for God's purpose. Number three, David's heart beat for people. Now, don't forget this trial in your journey of leadership. You want to lead with ease. Number one, your heart must beat for God. Number two, your heart must beat for God's purpose. Then number three, your heart must beat for people. If I handle each of these points one by one, they are discourses on their own. But permit me to just summarize it this way, that God must be at the center of your leadership. It doesn't matter what kind of leadership that you are functioning in, political, spiritual, business, and what have you. God must be at the heart of your leadership. Your heart must beat for God. Once you remove God out of the equation, you will either have leadership by struggle or you will have leadership gone wrong. When God is removed from the equation, you will either have leadership by struggle or leadership gone wrong. And that's the problem we're having in most places today. Some people struggle to lead because they have removed God from the equation. Why some people are leading wrongly? Because God is not at the center of their leadership. But when you look at the life and leadership of David, he had God at the center of his leadership. He had God's purpose, like you will read in Acts 13:36. The Bible said David served the purpose of God. He served the will of God in his own generation. So David had God's purpose in mind. Remember when David was made king, the first thing he requested for was that the ark of the covenant should be brought back to its place. That was a man of purpose. That was a man that wanted to achieve God's counsel via his leadership. So you want to lead with ease. Let God be at the center of your leadership. Number two, let God's purpose be at the center of your leadership. You cannot lead effectively unless you are leading purposefully. You cannot lead effectively unless you are leading purposefully. The third one is that people must be at the heart of your leadership. Your heart must burn for people. Your heart must beat for people. Remember Jesus in Matthew chapter 9, I guess verse 36. You will see the same thing in John chapter 9 or thereabout, John chapter 4. The Bible said when Jesus saw the multitude, he was moved with compassion, because they were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. I want to ask you today, what is that thing that moves you in your leadership pursuit? Are you moved by God? Are you moved by God's purpose? And are you moved by genuine desire for people, genuine love for people, genuine passion to see people emerge into their destiny? I want to tell you today, if you can bring these three forces into your life and leadership, you are going to lead with ease. God has not planned that leadership should be difficult. God has planned that leadership, whether in the political sphere, spiritual sphere, or church leadership, business leadership, family leadership, God has planned that it should be as simple as ABC. So my job today is to give you yet another point on how you can lead with ease. And I said the way to lead with ease is to lead from your heart, because the heart of the matter is a matter of the heart. You must have God at the center of your leadership. Your heart must beat for God, I said. Your heart must beat for God's purpose, and your heart must beat for people. That is how to check how you are faring in leadership. Thank you for being a part of today's broadcast. I'm sure you have gleaned some truth from what I've shared. You can apply this on the go into different areas and spheres of your endeavor. Till I meet you again at the next episode, go right there, lead from your heart, and you will sure be an effective leader. Bye for now.